were afraid to knock on doors. I'm not sure I would have even knocked on doors. But to see a new energy come back, and to see the power of commitment from people all up and down the economic strata, all across the political agenda. You have given me much more than I've given you. You've given me the commitment to go back. The last thing I want to do is go back to Capitol Hill. Now, in about a couple minutes, and go through a challenge on national security where the Senate is reconvening, because I've never seen a place where people spend more time criticizing each other rather than trying to get stuff done. Voice is the power of faith, the power of people, the power to even take some of the largest financial institutions in the world and tap in to that part of our soul that says we all can and should do better. That part of our soul that says, player in the corporate world, long term, coming in to the Bank of America after a lot of challenges after the fiscal crisis. Can you imagine him at his annual shareholder meeting when Reverend Ellis got up and got in his face? You know, congressional committees, you know, hedge funds, other kind of folks could not hold a candle to Reverend Ellis, followed up by the subtle Irish lilt of Father Creed. And all of them passed for 20 years. And I remember one of the first encounters I had with voice was there at First Mount Zion, when all kinds of various faith traditions would come together and stand up, and then we had other meetings. They'd say, this many from this church, this many from this mosque, this many from this synagogue. And you're right, there is something that's been mentioned. Voice is a lot of, thank you for today, what are we going to do tomorrow? And it is pretty remarkable. Can you imagine, just think about it for a moment.
You're not going to stop here. You're not going to let me or Bank of America stop here. That's the way it should be. So your congratulations. Today we say congratulations. Tomorrow we will say what next.
We have one more special thanks that we have to do, and this is a big thanks. When you get into a fight with the big banks, you need a big stick. You need someone who can be there with you and for you in the fight. And this gentleman, when he was unemployed and running to be employed, he had said that if you elect me, Since that day, Bank of America has been a full partner with Voice in addressing the foreclosure crisis in Prince William County. Its highest officials, one that is here today, toured this area, toured the neighborhoods, and delivered more than $750,000 in housing counseling money. They organized on-site loan modification workshops. Many of you were able to take advantage of, and they delivered more than $150 million in loan modifications and principal reduction, more than any other bank. Yeah. Largest reinvestment commitment to Prince William County, $20 million, 150 homes, and to finance 1,000 affordable rental units over the next 15 years in Prince William County and Northern Virginia. That's our vision. That's our goal. This is our victory. This is the fruit of our organizing labor. This is what happens when people stand together, fight together, hold on together in the mountaintops and in the valley times. And there's some special thanks. There's a special thank to one bank that came on early. This bank heard the the initial call from Reverend Ellis when he went down to North Carolina to the annual shareholders meeting, and he said what he said here. He served in a position of a leader and became accountable in the campaign. The Reinvestment Fund, a national CDFI that manages Voices Restoration Fund, helped to develop our reinvestment plan, and they did the research and the mapping to identify the banks that were responsible for most of those 27,000 foreclosures in Prince William County. Then we had the Interfaith Center for Corporate Responsibility. These are religious investors who own stock in Bank of America, Chase Mortgage, that we recognize today. Allies without whom our victories wouldn't have been possible. Our local allies with our Georgetown South residents and staff and its board members, where our campaign began, as Reverend Ellis said, almost 4 years ago, where there's so much pride and so much fight in changing this neighborhood from being one where you're afraid to walk into one where you are now proud to walk through. This is what we do. We thank Meg Carroll, who is the HOA president, a manager, HOA president that we currently have, and our former president of HOA, our housing counseling partners, Director of Virginia Cooperative, Marie Leone, and First Home Alliance, Director Larry Laws, and housing counselor Charlene Watkins for the countless hours they did recognizing people power and money power. What you achieved today in Prince William County is a testament to our persistence and our political sharpness. Change begins with a vision. Proverbs says, where there's no vision, people perish. But no good and lasting change happens without good allies and good partners. We've engaged as one voice for social justice in the lives of our neighbors and our neighborhoods. And we have an extraordinary leadership team within Voice who've led the fight with the full support of all of Voice throughout Northern Virginia. We challenge together Brian Moynihan. We challenge together Jeff Emmett. We challenge together Jamie.
As an investor, resident, and the president of Georgetown South Board of Trustees, I thank you all for your support and leadership, and I look forward to the work that we'll continue to do together.
Thank you. Let's continue to celebrate. Another big round of applause. We have two people we do want to recognize this afternoon, and that certainly is Mayor Al Parrish, who's already mentioned. Please stand. And we also have with us today Mike Futrell, Delegate Mike Futrell. Mike, stand, raise your hand.
Being in a relationship with our neighbors, listening to members of our community, and working together for common goals. In this same spirit, I would like to thank the City of Manassas Mayor Paul Parrish for the continued support of the people in Georgetown South. It's sincerely appreciated. We really appreciate all you do. Your continued support of the people in Georgetown South is sincerely appreciated. We've come a long way, as you can see from some of the before and after pictures behind. But our work is not done in a way that I was no longer afraid to knock on doors. I lost my fear, and I was motivated to help. Looking back today and knowing the purpose of our gathering here today, I can tell you it was all worth it. We are celebrating huge wins today, but there were smaller wins along the way, too. We work with Manassas City Police Department and local congregations to hold local landlords accountable for threatening tenants. Yes. Some dues were paid back, total of an estimate of about $15,000 that was paid back to the court orders. We also leveraged Georgetown South money and city partnership to receive six. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janet, and I live here in Georgetown South with my husband Edgar and our 6 kids, which are over there on the side.
Raise your hands, guys. Raise your hands.
Let start by saying this. I didn't want to move here to begin with, but I was scared because I was scared of the reputation Georgetown South had. I had heard it was a dangerous place full of drug dealers and gangs. And when I first moved here about 7 years ago, I was afraid to be outside or even enjoy the playground with my kids. Then my husband began working at Georgetown South and got involved in the community.
Consistent and consistent. We must resist the tendency of growing weary in well-doing. We have a duty as the people of God to be persistent until justice run down as waters as a mighty stream. Many thought we couldn't do it, but they don't know voice. We are hardworking. We are resilient folks. We want and we are doing the right thing. We did not lose heart, nor did we grow weary, nor did we grow faint. We were resolute. Force demanded. Force produced real change. In other words, as they say in Carolina, we made something happen. Or make whole the people who have been harmed by their actions. Restitution is a concrete reflection of the restoring of broken trust in relationships. Very quickly, in the Bible, it talks about a woman who was a widow. And this widow went to, the Bible said, an unjust judge. She decided to seek justice. So she goes to the judge and she asks the judge for help. But he even refuses to see her. The widow continues to seek justice. And after several attempts to get the judge to help, the judge finally does decide to help. Now you want to think that the reason the judge is helping her because that is what he should do. Or, and hold accountable banks we created real change that you can believe in. And today, our restoration fund here in Prince William County is a national model for how you can actually compel banks to reinvest equity, your equity, my equity, that was stripped out of our homes so that we can restore our blighted communities like those devastated by foreclosures in Prince William County, Manassas, and Manassas Park. You see, you got to understand that accountability, something that was drilled in me for over 26 years in the Army. Be accountable. If you